Hey y'all, this is Philip the Learn to Grow guy. Today I'm going to tell you about the difficulties I'm having with sweet potatoes, okay? Currently I'm on my second, not one, but my second batch of sweet potatoes that I done bought from the store or somebody gave me, and I put them in soil, up to maybe halfway covered or what have you, or maybe a little bit more. And basically they had not been doing anything. The first batch rotted. Second batch, let's take a look. Down here is my second batch. Okay, look at that. You see that? You should not be pulling up sweet potatoes out like that. This is another one. Or maybe this one's doing better. Nope. See that? It's molding on the bottom. Shucks. This one here still feels firm. This one here, no. You see what I'm saying? This one here still feels firm. I'm hoping that it's trying to do a little something underneath. Yes, it is. It actually is. Apparently, I disturbed it. Well, let's leave this one alone. Pack it up somewhat. However, this has to go. And same with this one here. Look at that. You see that? Mold, or look at all that. It's rotting. Okay. This one, I got to get this one out of there too. Well, yeah, rot. Shouldn't be like that. And the rest of this feels firm over here, but it does not seem like it's doing too much of anything. I'm going to see if I can, maybe I'll use this up and cut it up for baked for my favorite nemesis. Well, my newest, well, not my newest. You know those voles that seem to be messing around with stuff. Okay, this is part of the second batch too. Part of this sweet potato is bad here, but this one here, I think this one's one of the Korean ones. I think it's a Korean one. But this one seems to be the only one that I've gotten out of all the sweet potatoes I've put out, trying to get some slips out of. This seems to be the only one that seems to be doing all right. So this I'm going to leave alone. This one here, I don't know, I'll give it a few more days. I'll let these get a little bit more sturdy. If I don't see too much of anything out of, you know what? The heck with that. Let's see. Ooh, had a couple. Had the one piece there. Yeah. You see it? A little purple leaf. Maybe I'll leave this one down for now, and I'll come back and yank it out later. Okay? So, but this is the winner that I'm having right here, okay? This is going to be vole food that I'm going to set on some of the traps, mice traps that I have. Okay, so to remedy my little problem, I went on and surrendered. I was at the store today, and so what I decided to do is pick up some sweet potato slips. This is the first time I've ever bought any, okay? This is my first time buying sweet potato slips. And here's what I've got. See? This is what I went on and picked up. I don't know if you can see that well or not, but that's what I've got. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to cut these down. I've got my glass of water. Okay. I'm going to be cutting these down so that I'm able to make more slips out of them, other than these potentially 6 that I should have gotten out of here. And whenever you're buying plants, y'all, you gotta see if you can get the stuff with the most number of plants coming out of them. Similarly to this here, this is whatchamacallit, fennel. And so I looked for the one that had the most number of sibling, little plants, and that's the ones that I always pick. That's the ones that I always buy. So, but with like here, for example, I don't know if you can see this or not. This is actually rosemary, okay? But I'm not sure if this is just one plant underneath. I'm going to find out by soaking everything in water and shaking it around to get the soil from underneath, from off the roots, so I can see exactly what I've got. But like I said, whenever you're buying plants, make sure you get them with multiple stems or with multiple plants in one little pot. Okay, with this here, here's what we're going to do. Okay, well, let's start with this one. I like this one. This one's taller. What we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this and turn it into multiple slips. Okay, now looking at this plant here, this one here, as you can see, this has an elongated leaf right here, right here. This is an elongated leaf from that one. So what we could actually, and besides that, if you look at the very corner, if you look at the very inside thing here, you see a small amount of plant trying to grow there. So therefore, that whole side there can be its own plant. Okay. Now this one, on the other hand, okay, as you can see here, it's got another little thing here that we can have roots coming out of there. So, and we got another bud there. So therefore, we can cut this here. Now we have 3 plants. I can do the same thing here and cut this one, but I'm going to let this one grow. Got that son of a gun. There we go. Anyway, it's gone. So anyway, so out of this one, I think I'm going to let this leaf alone. I'm going to cut this leaf, and I'm going to go ahead and start sticking these in water. Okay, and that way these will start rooting, and that means that I have more sweet potato slips to plant. And I'm going to do the same thing with, let me see, not this one. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. This particular slip here, I can actually put in the ground and plant on its own. Okay, or I can divide this one into 2 more plants. Okay, like for example, I can cut this branch, since right there is that little baby there, and when I look closer at the very bottom there, you see that there's another little bud right there between the leaf and the stem. So what I could actually do is I can actually cut this one, and now I have another. Nope, I think I just messed up. Well, maybe not, because see that, you see the little root things right there, the little, here, let's see, you see the little thing sticking out? That's where your roots is going to come out at. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that in the water. I'm still good. This one here, I can go and plant this one on its own and leave it alone. Just give it a good watering, and it should do fine. Okay, well, let's go and take a look. See, let's see what we can do with it. And these are the people in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. Anyway, okay. Okay, if you remember from another previous video, I said that I was going to be planting sweet potatoes down the middle, because I did end up putting some of the other, some of the kale along the sides here, okay? So what I'm going to do is, okay? And for this, it's very important that this ground stays moist. If you remember, this is where I have the wire for the electroculture experiments that I'm going to be doing. Remember the wire? Okay, so I'm going to dig here, and I'm going to put my sweet potato right up in here. Okay, now if this was a long stem, what I would have been doing is I would have been trying to lay this thing down. Okay, I would have been trying to lay it down, and who knows, let's see, well, I'll just put it like this for now. We'll see what happens, but the key thing is that get the summer gun into the ground and let it do its thing. Okay, let it start growing. This will start putting out more vines as time progresses, and it should do fine. Okay, now the key thing is, once I've got that into the ground here, I need to go ahead and water it. Okay, hang on, let me get the water. Okay, I've got the water. See, okay, you gotta give it a good drink. Sorry about that. You're going to have to give it a good drink so that it can do what it needs to do. All right. And since out here it's been like bone dry, we supposedly had a good rainstorm that was supposed to come through here yesterday. Well, last night. And guess what, y'all? It never manifested. We got a few drops. Got a few drops of rain, and that was about it. And I'm going to cover this back up because since we're like in a drought type of thing going on right now, I want to make sure that there's enough. Ta-da! Okay, I want to make sure that the ground moisture is preserved, and that's the purpose of the leaves that I have on here. What I'm about to do now is I'm going to continue to repeat the process so I can have as many sweet potatoes as I can have. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the back of the truck, and I'm going to continue the process. I'm going to be the same thing you saw me do a little while ago is the same thing I'm going to do now. Oops, I'm not even sure if you can see me anymore. So it's the same process I'm going to continue doing. And the process is, like I said before, is that basically I'm going to cut up the sweet potatoes and make multiple plants out of them. And I'm going to put them in water and I'm going to let them vine up and do their thing. Okay? I'm going to let them root up and do their thing. So if I've made any mistakes, y'all, let me know. And let's see what all I can do. Okay. Okay, this one I split the thing open. Okay, I split the root ball, and I've got two separate plants here, which means that out of this plant, I'm going to get, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 different plants out of this one. And out of this one, since this one is smaller, I may just plant this one by itself, or I'll probably just plant this one by itself. Just leave it alone the way it is. Okay. So let me continue on. Okay, y'all. I had to pull the sweet potato slips out of this water because the jar was sitting in the sun and the water got very warm. Let's see what we ended up with. Okay, we've got this. That's 1. This is 2, 3, 4. Oops. Shucks. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I'm going to put these in the shade right there so that they don't wilt on me again, okay? I hope that didn't affect them in a negative way, that little wilting that they experienced. So let's see what happens. Now let's go to the garden. Remember how many we've got in there, okay? So at this point, this is what I've planted from those plants that I purchased a little while ago. So which means that right now we got to race that's on, okay? We got to race that's on because the kale has to hurry up and grow. These kale, they got to hurry up and grow, and make sure that the sweet potato leaves does not cover the whole ground or the whole bed to the point as where they get smothered out by sunlight. That's how many we ended up with. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so we ended up with 15 sweet potato plants here, plus all the ones that we have in the jar that I'm waiting to root. Okay, so that means that we got plenty of sweet potatoes to go around for a little while. Now keep in mind that even though I'm on my second batch of sweet potatoes that I tried to get to produce these slips, there is one sweet potato that I've got back there that is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing, and which is to provide some of the slips. It's starting to provide the slips, so which means that I got a problem in my hand. I've got a bunch of sweet potato slips in the jar over there that's gonna need to be planted. Yet at the same, once they root, of course, okay, you want them to root. But at the same time, I also have the new batch, from the second. So I also have the new slips that's coming up out of the second batch of sweet potatoes that I try to get slips out of. Now keep one thing in mind, okay? Typically with slips, I have planted them directly into the ground after cutting. They'll go through some difficult times, but as long as you keep them moist, they will bounce back and they will grow. However, the best way to do things is actually to put them in a jar, let them sprout roots and stuff like that, so that they're able to sustain themselves out here when you plant them into the ground. What else can I share with you? I think that's about all I've really got. Let's see. Put them in the ground. Oh, by the way, while your sweet potatoes are growing in the ground, you can still cut the slips. You can still cut some of the vine down You can still cut off some of the vines and actually put them in water or plant them directly to the ground so that they can continue to produce. So you can actually have more sweet potato plants. Now remember, sweet potatoes typically take, what is it, between, I believe, 90 and 120 days. So keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind, all right? As you cut new slips from the existing vines from the growing vines that you have, when you're trying to get new sweet potato plants going. All right, keep that in mind because that means that you may get additional, you may need additional time. Remember, sweet potatoes also require curing. I think it's up to about 14 days in a room, in a place with some humidity, at about 80 degrees. It's going to need that time to cure. That's how they're going to develop their sweetness. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of sweet potatoes that it's just biomatter. It's just, I guess, starchy biomatter. So it's very important to make sure that you get them to cure. Okay, there's various ways to cure them. Either when the time comes, I'll make a video on that, or you can search online to see how to cure sweet potatoes. Okay, when you don't have a room or when you don't have a big room to take care of that in. Okay, there's mats you can buy. There's those what's some things called, those those containers, storage containers you can buy, and you can put spray everything, spray a towel or something, get it moist and damp so that there is humidity in the storage container so that you can cure your potatoes. Okay, with the main purpose of the heating mat will be to keep the temperature around 80 degrees. That's what you're going to have a need for. All right, so anyway, that's all I've got for you guys as of now. If I've done anything wrong, if I've done anything right that you like, be sure to leave a comment. Okay, and then typically I'll try to respond to every comment that I get. Yeah, so like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.